Hey guys, what's up? It's ET back with another portfolio review. I would like to start off today just by apologizing if you've been waiting. I know some of you have been waiting for over a month for your free bronze boomerang review. This whole thing has gone off the charts. I've been super busy with paid reviews and private reviews, and obviously those get priority, but I'm back doing some of the free ones now, and I thank you for your patience. I hope you find this useful. I always like to start off by saying that, over the course of my career, I've looked at thousands probably of portfolios, and I've definitely helped hire hundreds of people, creative professionals just like you. And I'm totally confident that I can help you create a perfectly crafted portfolio that gives you the best chance of taking your career where you want it to go. I'm going to share here some of the many things that can make or break your portfolio. I'll try and point out as many possible blind spots, and I'll help you transform your work with ideas, suggestions, feedback that can be the difference between getting hired and getting dismissed. You might not agree with everything I say. That's totally okay. That's super normal. I just want you to know that I'm responding to your work in real time the same way a recruiter or a creative director will. And if things aren't clear, if things aren't crafted, you could get dismissed. Also, I don't have to like everything in your book, right? Nobody's probably going to like everything, but if all the work is well executed, easy to understand, and easy to navigate, you're going to vastly improve your hireability and chances for success in an already super competitive field. This free bronze boomerang review, they're very top level. More importantly, they're a one-way conversation, right? It's just me telling you what I think. So if you feel like you want to explain your choices, your ideas, or your work, then I encourage you to upgrade for a more detailed and collaborative process and response that will make you and your portfolio even more valuable. The other reviews, the gold goal, the silver skillet, and the titanium torch options are the best way forward, and each of them offers you even more of my expertise and insights to help you transform your portfolio into a guaranteed gig getter. If you want to understand why I'm doing this or discover more about me, check out the FAQ on this page. And with that, let's get stuck into it. Today's review comes from someone named Jess, and she has been waiting a long time. So thank you, Jess, for your patience while we work through your portfolio. So I guess there's a couple things right off the bat. So there's a lot to look at right here. It's not a clean kind of landing page, right? There's some navigation on the left, there's a logo on the right, the LinkedIn logo, there's your name, then there's a headline, then there's 3 subheads. And it just feels a bit like ping, 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 like I'm ping-ponging from left to middle to right to down. And I feel like there's a bit of a hierarchical flow that could be improved here, right? That said, I appreciate you doing something a little bit different than what we've seen. And what I like about this is you've made it clear through your navigational choices that LinkedIn is kind of your preferred way of connecting with people. I love that you put that right in the top right. It's like bang. It's a very clear call to action without actually saying, hey, let's connect or link with me, right? You've just shown it instead of said it. I appreciate that. I also like the simplicity of your navigation. Welcome, about, resume. I feel like maybe there's you could have a work tab here as well, depending on what happens when I click these. For example, let's just find out. So if I go to about page, how do I get back to the work, right? So you're missing that important piece of navigation, I think. So definitely something to fix. Also, typographically, there's a lot of interesting choices in this on this website, which I'll try and remember them all and share with you my kind of 2 cents. But right off the top of the bat, you've got this sort of sans serif kind of generic-y font. Then you've got this serif font, and then you've got a different, again, lighter weight font. And I just feel like if you're a UX designer, then design is obviously super important. And UX UI is your jam. That's what you're telling me. Then I would be really focused in on how you can make this experience as smooth and ideally as novel as you possibly can. Like, this is your chance to do the very best that you are capable of. And this all just feels a bit kind of simple and ordinary, and there's definitely something to be said for being simple and ordinary. Like, you don't want to over confuse it and add heaps of gimmickry and tricks and stuff, but I think you could do a little bit more here to show your skills off. It's also, I find it really confusing, right? You have come to me saying you're a UX UI designer, but the first thing you say is, I know a lot about psychology, art instruction, and healthcare service design, which are three things completely unrelated to being a UX UI designer. So if you want to show off your skills in psychology or talk about a background in that, then the place to do that might be in your About section or on your resume. Same goes for art instruction and healthcare service design. It feels like maybe you had a previous career in those things and now you're switching to UX UI, or you've dabbled in those and you just want people to know that. But I feel like your mixed messages are confusing to someone who wants to hire a UX UI designer. At the very least, I would strongly recommend that you swap the order of these, right? So you start off by saying, you can call me Jess, I'm a UX UI designer and app designer. I'm creative, I'm curious, and I also happen to know a lot about psychology, art instruction, and healthcare. At least that way, the hierarchy is clear. I know that you're the person I thought you were when I came looking for you, and maybe the perception, by flipping those three things around, the perception is, oh, if psychology could potentially be an important part of designing UX well, right? You understand the mindset of the customer or the consumer or the user. Art instruction, maybe that means that you're going to be paying attention to the beauty of your designs more than just someone who's totally focused on functionality. Healthcare service design, I'm not quite sure how that fits in the mix, but maybe you have a plan for that. Okay, so aside from the problem with the navigation here about not having a work section to come back to the work, right? Because I notice you've got three pieces here, which, by the way, I think you've heard me, people will have heard me say on these reviews a lot, like less is more, choose your best stuff. I think you could add another 2 or 3 pieces here and kind of make this feel a bit more well-rounded out. In terms of your thumbnails, I like how they're using a similar color palette. A lot of people get this wrong, right? Their thumbnails are all over the place and it feels really disjointed. I'm even a little bit guilty of that on my own site, but you've got the purple blues and light blues, purple blues and light blues, purple blues and light blues. They are very different, right? Like this is a graphic, this is phones, this is more like an art thing. So I feel like they could perhaps be even more cohesive in terms of thumbnail images, but I like that you're not trying to like put all the information there, and that at least color-wise they feel like they're related. These colors, though, if these are your theme brand, personal brand colors, I feel like they should be reflected in this top bar and in your typography, right? So you've got this weird kind of Kelly green thing, but then in your heading, top bar, and in this copy here. But then when we get down here, it feels like it's a different person, a different brand. So just something to think about. Okay, so let's go to About. Cool, I think a headshot is a nice way for people to get to know you. Again, I'm seeing this Kelly green, so that feels like that's the direction you want to go for your personal branding, but now you're introducing this kind of coppery orange. So yeah, I just think about your brand, your personal brand color palette, and make sure you're being consistent. Email, name, address, fine. This feels a bit long for a bio, and people really just want to know that you're an awesome UX UI designer. I appreciate that you've gone, hey again, buckle up, it's story time. I'm not sure why again, because have we already read something of yours? But buckle up, it's story time. Okay, that's funny. But then maybe write this as a story. I'm not saying literally go, once upon a time I graduated, but perhaps there's a way of rewriting this so it feels fun, playful, engaging and interesting, and written as much as you can from and for the point of view of someone who might hire you rather than you kind of telling your life story, right? So, I don't know that people need to know that, COVID came and you got a new job. I think everything here should be about why your previous, past, and seemingly unrelated experience as a healthcare service designer, art instructor, and psychologist make you a better UX designer. If it's not doing that, then I don't think maybe you want to put it here. Also, this is muddling up the message as well. Look, I can paint sometimes too. I see this a lot with brilliant multi-potentialite, polymath, slashy type people, of which I am one. But when you confuse the message for people, it becomes hard for them to put you in a box. And I know you don't want to be put in a box. I hate it too. The way I get around it personally is I have multiple websites. Yes, it's a pain in the ass to maintain them all and update them all, but my portfolio site is strictly a portfolio site for advertising. My film writing and directing site is only about that. So if I send someone to that website, they know why I've sent them there, and they're seeing what they expect to see there. When you have multiple messages in one site, it can be really, really confusing for people. So if your art is a serious passion of yours, consider having a separate website for that and making this your UX UI site only. Okay, so that's that. And then resume. Interesting choice to put your resume on your website, right? First of all, I don't think this is a great idea because generally speaking, if you're applying for jobs or trying to get jobs, you always want to tailor your resume to that job. So putting a generic one up here that someone might find after they've searched for you, after you've applied for a job, if you're doing that, this wouldn't sync with that, and or this one may not be as appropriate as you would have liked it to be if you'd had a chance to tailor it. So whilst I think past experience and stuff can be relevant and even important, I'm not sure this presentation of it is doing you as much good as you think. Furthermore, if it's not actually a resume, right? Because you haven't got contact information on here, you haven't got any kind of personal stuff like your hobbies, interests, all the kinds of things that you would see in a very stereotypical CV or resume. So it's a bit of a thing here. Also, I'm going to call out one other thing that I've noticed on your site when, in the work section, which we'll get back to in a second, which is you're using images. So I would say for a UX, UI designer, everything on your site should demonstrate that you know how to build an awesome HTML, CSS-based experience. I noticed that you're not using WordPress. It doesn't look like you're using Squarespace. So probably you built this yourself. But the choice to use images instead of building stuff using code makes it seem like a weird choice for someone who's working, primarily with code for their career, for their living, right? So also, when you resize and rescale, these things are going to become very hard to read. Whereas if this was HTML, it could dynamically resize and be legible on all platforms. Okay, so going back to one of the first notes, there's no real clear, this, by the way, your name, this should always take you to home. And it doesn't. So that's a very basic UI, UX expectation. Click on the logo, it takes you home. So I have to go back now to welcome to see work. So I think that's a missed opportunity. You should make work findable from anywhere on your site. So let's go through these three things. Oh, darn it. You know what? I forgot to start the timer. Yeah, that's right. You're only supposed to get 10 minutes. And it's not working. What happened? Okay, here we go. Timer's back on. Look, you're gonna get bonus time anyway. It's my bad. I forgot to reset or to start that. Anyway, okay, so here we go. So let's get back into the work. So now what I'm seeing here is, again, it looks like your brand font in the top bar, but this looks like Helvetica or something in the about this project. And also I note that these are all images. So when I resize my window and stuff, they don't resize well. They're very hard to read. They're very hard to read full size on a big monitor. So I think that the real big opportunity here is for you to rebuild these sections using code so that they dynamically resize on mobile tablets and desktops, so everything stays readable, and so it's searchable as well. Maybe that might be important to you. Like if you're trying to get discovered as a UX UI person, images are not going to be as search results oriented, right? Because there's nothing for the crawlers to read. And then, of course, here, what I want to see most is the work. And this feels like I went to a hackathon. This was the challenge. These were the goals. We improved some things. Here's what it was before. Here's what we did. But where can I see the actual design? and I can't even read this because it's too small. So again, missed opportunity here to really talk about. Also, down here I would expect to see, okay, here we go. This is good. Next project. That's what I was looking for. So that's working. All right, again, these are images. I like that you link to this website that you designed. It's a Squarespace site, so I'm not sure how much UX, UI influence you would have really had over that because you're sort of limited to what Squarespace can do. And I had a look at that site, and it's nice. But again, these images are not, you sort of designed like a simple website. I'm actually, the irony here is not lost on me that I'm doing a portfolio review and of your work doing a portfolio for someone. So maybe my tips will be helpful here as well. You talked about color and you talked about identity and content, but you haven't talked about UX or UI, right? Really, in language that shows off that that's what you know about and think about. So I think there's a missed opportunity here. All right, let's check the last piece of work. Okay, so this, I love that you can click on the prototype. That's good. It'd be nice if I didn't have to click out. That it would be, on all here on one page or on your website. Again, you're using an image here, so, and also again, different typography, right? You're sort of keeping this Kelly green and orange, which we talked about already in terms of your personal brand colors, but now you're using a serif typeface, which, as you can see, when it comes up against the green up here, that it just looks like a split personality in terms of your personal brand. And I think that's also a missed opportunity. Here, at least, though, I get a sense of what the UX was. I wish this image was bigger or clickable. I know you've got the link here, but people just want to scroll and see cool stuff. And this kind of image isn't really, anybody who does the work that you do does this. I'm not sure that that's something that you would call out unless you're working with very unsophisticated clients. So I feel, so what do I think? Let's go back, or I guess that's everything. Okay. All right. So, so we're back. So I think that overall, there's some really interesting things happening here, right? But I think, in terms of using your portfolio website to showcase your skills, the way you think, your expertise, the stuff that makes you really, really excited, you're missing an opportunity, right? To relate all the stuff you're showing to the work that you want to do. Almost none of it really seems to do that, in my perspective, in my opinion. So I think going back, having maybe even getting a friend who works, who doesn't work in UX UI, but maybe has hired UX and UI designers before, to go, hey, look at my website and tell me what you think. Would you hire me? Would you not hire me based on what you've seen here? What's missing? What do I need to add? What do you look for? Do a little bit of like informal market research amongst people that might become your clients. Who knows? By doing that research, maybe they will become clients. But I think you're really missing a chance to show off your skill set here. And the other note, again, sort of as a broad note, was that confusion of skills in terms of the hierarchy of how you present the things you know a lot about. I would definitely fix that. I would pay special attention to your own navigation and your own branding. And to recap, I think once you get more work, having maybe 5 pieces or 6 pieces would, 5 or 6 tiles that you click on and then go into that demonstrate a range of work that you did for that client would be kind of the right amount. So that's my kind of 2 cents there, and that's my bronze boomerang review. I know it's short and sweet, hopefully helpful. If you just watch this and you want me to do a deeper dive and go through everything on your site and really, really kind of specifically help you think about how you could improve it and make it better, then maybe upgrade to a silver skillet review. That's an easy next step you could take. If you just watch this and you have questions, or you feel like you want to explain your worker choices, or maybe even develop stuff together, then the gold goal or titanium torch are definitely the way forward. A silver skillet will make your work a lot better, but the gold goal and titanium torch levels will make you better with collaborative and creative coaching that will endow you with ideation tools and techniques that you probably end up using for the rest of your whole entire career. If you end up making changes and you want me to have another look before you start sharing it with the world, you can book one of my follow-up reviews. They're pretty cheap. So in short, there's lots of ways we might be able to work together and continue to work together. I invite you to check out this link right here. to get more information and join the many people whose portfolios I've helped improve. I really appreciate you sharing your portfolio with me. I know it takes a lot to kind of email a link to a random stranger and hope they say nice things about what you've done. I think you've got the bones of something great here. It just needs a little refinement, a little bit of a polish, and some more specificity around the kind of work you do and how you want to do it. So thanks very much. If you want to review, this is the link right here. I would love to see your work and give you my 2 cents. Hopefully it's helpful. Thanks for watching.